The Calydonian Boar Hunt. There are times when one hero isn't enough. The tale of the Calydonian boar is one such occasion. The land of Calydon was ruled by a man called Aeneas. Half of his kingdom was covered in vineyards, and he was famous for the wine he produced. Every year, King Aeneas would hold sacrifices for all the gods because, as every Greek knows, the key to good fortune is to keep the gods on Mount Olympus happy. But one year, King Aeneas made a grave mistake. He forgot to honor the goddess Artemis. In a rage, jealous of the other gods, Artemis decided to punish Aeneas for his forgetfulness. So she let loose a giant, angry, wild boar into his vineyards. The creature was as big as a cow, had bristles as sharp as knives, and long yellow teeth. It soon ravaged the countryside, tearing up the thick, twining vines. Aeneas didn't know what to do. The people of his kingdom were too scared even to step outside the city walls. So he sent out messengers all over the Greek world, asking if any man was brave enough to face up to the boar and rid his kingdom of this terrible, destructive beast. Greek heroes loved nothing more than a challenge, and soon men were arriving from every direction. There were dozens of them, including the sons of gods, some of the Argonauts, Odysseus' father, Laertes, and even the great Theseus from Athens. The only person not to come was Heracles, who had already tackled a boar sent by the gods, and so had nothing left to prove. Even one woman turned up, which was odd in the age of heroes. Her name was Atalanta, and she was known all over the world for her speed. It was said that she ran faster than the wind. Some of the other hunters weren't happy about this. They didn't think a woman should be allowed to join them. The son of King Aeneas, a man called Meleager, led the hunting party. Meleager had an interesting past. 3 nights after his birth, 3 goddesses, called the Fates, had appeared to Meleager's mother, Althea. They told her he would live as long as she kept a special log burning in the fireplace of the family home. Of course, Althea quickly threw the log into the flames, where it had remained ever since. To keep Meleager safe on the hunt, Althea sent her 2 brothers, Toxeus and Plexippus, along to accompany him. As the hunters entered the forest where the boar liked to hide, they were all eager to be the one who struck the fatal blow. Some even said that the boar wasn't sent by the gods and that King Aeneas was exaggerating. One of the Argonauts, a man called Eurytion, said he would even tackle the creature with his bare hands. Soon, they were on the boar's trail in the depths of the forest. There was the sound of a twig cracking and feet pounding on the ground up ahead. The men scattered, ready to throw their spears. The foliage began to move, and a hunter called Peleus was the first to throw his spear. There was a scream. Parting the leaves, Peleus saw that his spear was buried in the stomach of his friend Eurytion. After this tragedy, everyone fell utterly quiet. On they plunged between the trees until again the boar charged. When the hunters first laid eyes on the beast, they were frozen with fear. Ancaeus was gored in the gut and died in agony. Atalanta was the first to give chase, leaping over fallen trunks and through forest streams, not once letting the boar leave her sight. The others tried to keep up, but she was much too quick for them. Finally, the boar began to tire, and Atalanta, still in pursuit, strung an arrow to her bow. She took careful aim and fired. The shaft shot through the air and buried itself in the beast's leg. The boar roared in pain and skidded to a halt. At this moment, Meleager stepped forward and drove his spear through its heart. The boar of Calydon was dead. The other hunters cheered and began to skin the boar's thick hide as a prize for Meleager. They tried to lift him onto their shoulders, but he wouldn't let them. "The prize goes to Atalanta," he said. "She's the one who first drew blood." The men cried out their disapproval. "She's just a woman with the lucky arrow. You're the one who rid your father's kingdom of this menace." But Meleager was insistent. He wouldn't back down. Finally, his uncle Toxeus spoke. "It's only because you're in love with her." Plexippus agreed. "Yes, you're under the woman's spell," Plexippus agreed. Meleager wouldn't stand for this, and killed them both with his spear, still dripping with the boar's blood. He turned and gave the boar's hide to Atalanta. King Aeneas was delighted to hear his land was freed of its curse, and offered sacrifices to all of the gods, including Artemis this time. But his wife was not so happy. When she found out what had happened to her dear brothers, she went straight to the family hearth and seized the enchanted log with a pair of tongs. "As you killed my brothers," she said, "so I will bring your end." With that, she lifted the log from the flames. The Fates took note and snipped the thread that measured Meleager's life. In his chamber with Atalanta, Meleager dropped down dead. King Aeneas had freed his land of the menace of the boar, but paid for it with the life of his son.